is yet another story of Elrosk. Yes, I told you I'd make a video, more videos about, Elrosk, and it took a while, like 8 months, but I'm good, I'm doing it now, so, I have like 2 subscribers anyway. Anyway, so today is the story of Elrosk and the Burning Plague. Yeah. So, if any of you played this adventure before, it's a module adventure. I found it online. And of course, what me and my friends do is something you really shouldn't do with D&D. We round robin DM. Basically, we all make characters, and then we play and switch up who's DMing. So essentially our characters become NPCs. It works, but only with the uncharismatic characters. Because otherwise, if you're a rogue, you're going to talk to yourself a lot. And that just seems awkward. You're supposed to roleplay with it, but then you're talking with yourself and rolling and be like, oh yeah, 18, yeah, I know about the treasure of the great king of Sugadar. So anyway, today's story is about Elrosk, and I was DMing this. Of course, Elrosk, charisma of like 11, which is actually pretty high for a barbarian, but I wasn't rolling any diplomacy, so meh. So it so happened where we were, there was only 2 of us, so just role playing between the 2 of us, real good, solid geeks right there. We were, the story was, we had my friend was playing a ranger, and we're starting at level 1. Ranger's walking down a path. She's on her way to this village where she heard some horrible plague has started to wreak havoc on the people, and their main outsource, which is a mine, they can't get to because it's disease-ridden. Cobalt has infested it, and they're all infected, and you can't get anything out of the mine. Nice, silver mine, too. So, she's on her way traveling, and she, walking down the trail, she's about a mile from the town, and all of a sudden she looks over and sees what looks like a half-orc, and he's gnawing on this tree that appears that he just ripped down. Now, the tree was about you can't really see it in my camera, but yeah, not wide. About as tall as this guy was, which, as he introduces himself, "Hello, my name's Elrosk. You like my tree? I like it." And she's just like, yeah, it's a very nice tree. I have to get to town. Yeah. So Elrosk was just like, ooh, a town? I didn't know there was a town. Intelligence of 3. So he ends up following her. They're not partied up. He just follows her. And he carries along that tree with him. So they get to town. Town's basically deserted. Everybody moved away. There's only that person that sent the ranger a letter left, and he's on his deathbed. Goes to the guy. He says, disease started in the mine, so it has to be something to do with the mine. And then he passes out. So we go to the mine, Outside the mine, there is shovels, pickaxes, rope, the usual mining gear stuff. And, of course, I started everybody out with nothing. Well, the ranger had a short spear. Elrosk had nothing. Except the tree. So, she figured, oh no, I'll pick up this, a pickaxe, improvised piercing weapon, 1d6, whatever, It works. In case, she threw the spear, and then she's just like, oh shit, what do I do now? So she has the spear, and the pickaxe. And she goes in. Elrosk, with this big fucking tree following. First room, of course, if you know this adventure, it's a trapped room. There's a thunderstone hanging on the ceiling, and there's a dead guy underneath the cart with the line that goes up to the ceiling. And if you disturb the cart or the person, it falls, it deafens you, it alerts 20-something kobolds in the mine. So, of course we trip it. It blasts. We make the roll, so we're not deafened, but we hear lots of from rooms away. We're just like, fuck. And so we basically want to do this. We know they're alert. We can hear them. I hear tables flipping over and people some scurrying, and so the ranger's just like, okay, we need to get further in this mine. That's the only way to go. How are we going to do it? She looks around. Elrosk isn't there. He's charging the door. I'm charging the door with my tree. So I make a strength check. Roll 20. And since I'm using the tree like an improvised battering ram, I gave myself a +1 to batter it down. But I rolled a 20. So after I disinvented hinges, the doors go flying. And I actually attack roll for the doors. Now, these kobolds are all behind tables. A +4 AC. Really, there's no chance of hitting him, especially with a door. I hit 4. Killed 4. That evened the tables. Literally. So, Elrosk goes in busting his fucking tree, swinging his fucking tree around. And these kobolds are all disease-ridden too. So, you don't want to touch them. And so, a ranger, without thinking, throws the short spear in. Takes out one of the kobolds in between a crack in the table. She doesn't want that short spear back. And so, she's stuck with the pickaxe. So we keep going after we wipe the floor with a tree and a pickaxe. After me basically battering ramming the table and pinning 4 more kobolds up against a wall, and then we just bashed them to fuck. Besides that, we slaughter tons of fucking kobolds. I mean, there were so fucking many. And we eventually get to this. We know it's the leader of the kobolds, and we know because he's a little bigger and whatnot. And he runs up into this dead end hallway. So they all have crossbows, and there's about 6 of them down there. And so I'm just Elrosk just takes a white rag. Sticks out on the end of a stick and sticks it around the corner. Then you hear he pulls it back, it's all full of holes. No good, Ranger. So then, in a stroke of genius, Elrosk decides the best course of action is to take his tree and bull rush the motherfuckers up against the wall. So, without warning, before the ranger could even stop him, Elrosk grabs his tree, runs around the corner, and charges. And this tree's as tall as he is, and that's the hallway's a little wider. With one strength check, he successfully pins 5 out of the 6 kobolds up against the wall. They make individual strength checks. And with strength checks, you get like a +2 for every person that's helping on the original person that pushed. Still wasn't enough. Yeah. So I had 5 of the 6 kobolds pinned. Immediately, the ranger goes in, gets the other one with one swing. They're fucking rolling fantastic. So we end up fighting the leader. He's pinned behind the wall, and behind my tree. The fight was a lot easier than it should have been. So, needless to say, you find a secret door behind that hallway, and it leads to this room. And underneath this large piece of cloth, we find 2 child kobolds. So, they're obviously heard what went on, and if we passed, obviously we killed their parents. They're not too happy with us, and their children, and they're crying. And so, Elrosk, having no diplomacy skills, and with a charisma of 11, intelligence of 3, thinks it's a good idea to comfort it in its arms, a disease-ridden child. Oh, my body, it's my body, I'm going to keep him, I'm going to feed him, it's going to be awesome. The ranger, having the higher charisma and intelligence out of the 2, not an easy feat to do. She tries consoling with the little child. Your father was evil. It's like, this is what happens with evil people. Chaotic. She was chaotic. This is what happens with evil people. A child kobold's response? Right in her face. She has to make a fortitude save to not get disease-ridden. Guess where that pickaxe went? Right through the kobold's head, into a wall. At this, Elrosk is just like, no, don't hurt mine. Don't hurt mine. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. And she's like, oh, just put him down. I won't do it to him. Rolling bluff. By the way, my sense of motive sucks. I was like, okay. I put him down. Whooshing, killed that one as well. I'm just like, as a DM, just like, but you're chaotic good. You wouldn't just kill children like that. He's like, spat in my face. We're going to be grown up to be evil anyway. So regardless of the child killing, we then travel to another section of the mine where it seems like there's a lot more disease. We get this big room and there's a pillar on it and it's inscribed with tons of runes and And this is the one part where if Elrosk was literate, he could have been a big help. But unfortunately, he can't read and write his own language, Orc. This entire pillar was covered in Orc runes. He knew it was Orc language, because he's seen it before. But that's it. Well, those are Orc runes. So the ranger's just like, well, what did they say? I don't know. Me dumb. So at the top of the pillar, there comes a maniacal laugh. And you see an orc standing on top of it. He's like, this is mine. This is a test of Grumosh. And he has made me challenge you to the death. So Elrosk goes climbing up the pillar with a fucking tree. Successfully, I might add. He gets up there. He tries chucking the tree at the guy. Misses. The one time he did miss was chucking a fucking tree. So, and the ranger's just like sitting down there. She has no ranged weapon. She can throw the pickaxe, but she takes like a -8 penalty for throwing it. She's just like, I'm gonna wait. Because there's a reason I'm gonna wait. I have a weird feeling. The next round, Elrosk grapples the orc. Completely dominates the grapple check. And then they both proceed to jump off the pillar. Elrosk lands on top of the orc. Both roll like 2d6 damage because it is pretty high up there. Orc's almost dead. Elrosk completely fine. So, and Elrosk picks him up, throws him away. Then the ranger just swings a pickaxe, takes him right in the fucking neck. Kills him. We loot all his shit. Had like a fucking chain shirt. Oh, chain shirt. By the way, this is a different time when, for my last Elrosk in the Orb, I had to revamp Elrosk because the sorcerer died. We're just going to leave it at that. So, I had to revamp him level 1. This is what happened. It's really all this shit, and we see the water traveling next to the pillar appears to be clearing up. Successful mission. Yeah. But we had to take it one step further. We know we had to burn this. We had to burn this shit out. So earlier, we found 2 entire barrels of flasks of lamp oil. Oh yeah. What do we do with flasks of lamp oil when there are no lamps? Or at least the lamps were broken. You know. Well, we had to burn this plague. It's a burning plague, so we had to burn it. Oh yeah. So we start throwing fucking flasks everywhere. The walls, the ceiling, the floor, on the dead bodies, just breaking them all over. Anything that we could find, anything that would help. And so we're running on our last few. So the ranger's like, okay, you stay here and finish off the rest of what you got. Don't run around. I'm going to make a trail to outside. Oh, I was like, okay, dokie. And he continues throwing them. Of course, we're making like rolls to throw just to make sure. And just to make sure, my exact last one that I rolled was a 1. guess where the scatter table wanted it to land? On a torch that I set down next to my feet. Yeah. So, we're at the Ranger. She's trailing it out. Finally. Whew, that was hard work. Then I say as DM, make a listen check. You hear a uh-oh from deep within inside the cavern, the mine. Then you hear a as Elrosk comes flying out of the mine entrance. A giant ball of fire chases him out. Thankfully, it was the middle of winter. Elrosk landed in a snowbank with his ass on fire. So he sits down in the flames, like, He gets up. We start walking away. And I'm describing what Elrosk looks like. He looks mostly singed, but really everything is intact. The only part of his clothes that are missing is his back of his loincloth. So you can clearly see his ass. His fucking singed hair ass. So as they're walking away, from the burning mine, Elrosk's fine, he's fucking tons of constitution. They're walking away. Elrosk is very, very embarrassed by this for some reason. His intelligence has enough. He has enough mind to know when to be embarrassed. So, as they walk away, the Ranger just looks at Elrosk, and Elrosk says, "Don't be mean to me." And she's just like, "You crack me up." Later, what I think she should have said was, "Don't worry, Elrosk. I won't crack any jokes."